Welcome to the Gridiron!
Welcome.
Welcome.
Gridiron here coming to you with a special guest this week. It's King Strawberry.
Hello.
Alongside Eli here and Gabe.
Yep.
Let's get into it. Thanks for joining us, Tate.
You're welcome.
So we're going to start by recapping last week. First game up was you versus your pops. Any thoughts?
Yeah. I was a little bit surprised about his defense getting 30 points. That really made him blow out my score. And yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
that is a great point. I don't think that's going to happen very much. So you got pretty unlucky.
Yep,
Yeah.
And also, losing to your dad always stings.
it does. It sucks.
We know what that's like. Now you do too.
Also, small game for you from Devontae Adams. We've been saying that weeks where Allen and Adams don't have big games, you're going to lose. And we were right. Adams had a small game and you lost. So
Yeah.
next up was Joe versus Aiden. Joe with a handy win there. Any thoughts, Tate?
No, I will say I think that Brees Hall throughout the year will be like kind of a roller coaster. He'll get low points, but he might get higher some games.
Totally.
But
I like that take.
I don't think it's gonna be like that every game.
No, but there's a lot of draft capital to spend where Aiden spent like third, fourth round for Brees. Joe's team just looking kind of solid, maybe a little weak at running back with Etienne.
Weak at running back, but Waddle kind of saved his week. So
Yep, he waddled to a win.
yeah,
Yeah.
Matchup versus Gramps. Gramps had a lot of injuries. He was
Gramps' team looked really bad.
he was
Cam Akers?
He started Cam Akers. No, did he?
I know.
No, he didn't.
Oh, he benched Cam Akers.
Well, my past 2 weeks I've played teams playing two tight ends and McCole Hardman. That and Joe Mixon had a small game, and so my team just did solid across the board again, and that's all it took. Not much else to say.
Yeah, Gramps' team just looks not very good right now, unfortunately.
Nope. Next game though, likely gonna be the closest game of the entire season down to the final pass
Yeah, that
of
was
the
insane.
Vikings-Eagles game. Pops pulling off a 0.12 win versus Trav.
Yeah, that's insane.
That was awesome to watch. Travis's team looks pretty good though, so 124 points should get you the win. Super unfortunate for him that he just narrowly missed out.
Again, Pops' D coming through with 25 points, and his kicker coming through with 12. Most other weeks, Pops' team, let's just put those down to averages, would have scored more like 104. And so Pops and Jason riding fat defensive performances to wins.
Yep.
Not sustainable. Sucks for Trav. Great for Pops.
Yeah.
Next matchup, another unlucky loss here. Gabe with Lance going down.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole story. Like, my team kind of did better than Annie's, but when you get 2.5 points from your quarterback, you're probably going to lose, and that's what happened. So if he doesn't go down, I win. That's the whole story there.
Next game is big.
That also, Tyreek dropping basically 40 points in the last 2 drives for the Dolphins.
Yes. I mean,
Annie should have lost. She didn't.
Yeah.
She's 2-0.
Next up is Sam with a terrible loss to Luke.
Yep.
Like,
Tate, anything to say?
no, not really. That was a terrible loss though for Sam.
Yep.
Yeah.
All of his like high drafted receivers had huge duds, so even a Jalen Squirt's massive game didn't put him over the line.
Yeah, just goes to show Sam's team is really reliant on Jefferson and his ceiling. That's not going to happen every game, and when it doesn't, who's there to wipe up the scraps? No one.
No one. Okay. I think you might enjoy this next game. What do you think about
Uh,
AJ getting blown out by Kayla?
Okay. First of all, I just want to. I'm speechless about the Dolphins and Ravens game. 51 points on Lamar Jackson for Kayla. Nick Chubb doing amazing. AJ with Derrick Henry getting blown out. There's just a lot of stuff that just like is insane.
Absolutely.
Totally.
I think what's crazy is that Kayla doubled AJ's score. That's always fun to see.
Yeah.
She did. It's really hard to lose when your quarterback scores 50, but what Kayla's team did was likely set the bar for the highest score of the entire season this week. Really doubt anyone even gets close to 175.
Yeah, I would agree.
We ranked Kayla's team number 1 in the power rankings. At least I did.
Yeah, spoiler alert, so did I.
And just goes to show every single one of her players not only has a high floor, but they have immense upside as well.
Yeah. Good
Yeah.
job.
All right. Anything else for the recap, Tate, before we move on to power rankings?
No.
All right. Well, here's mistake here. Week 2, power rankings, and unfortunately, AJ, Eli's Nightmare, lands at the bottom spot this week.
Huge fall for AJ. It's mostly because Derrick Henry looks like he's a little bit washed up. So if he has a dud year, AJ, your team is not gonna do well. So I'm sorry, bro.
That
Yeah.
AJ, the other thing that doesn't help is Mike Evans being suspended.
Yep.
Kareem Hunt is
I mean,
not a starting running back.
We literally just saw the Browns Steelers game, and I mean, Kareem Hunt didn't do bad, but he put up less than projected, which is not ideal.
Yeah.
You kind of need to have a good week all around without your stars.
That and Kyler, if he didn't pull off some
Yeah.
insane squirting around at the end of the game, would have had likely a 14-point game, and it's just not looking good for your team, AJ. And so I hope Derrick Henry turns it around. I hope all your receivers turn it around. But for now,
you supplant Jason as
yes, you do.
I mean, also another thing, he has been playing the like top 2 pointed teams for these 2 weeks.
This is a good point. AJ has the most points against him.
But also,
Yeah.
he's got either the lowest or the second lowest points scored, which isn't good.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a bad combo, getting scored on the most and scoring the least.
It is. Next up, Jason, 13th.
Yeah. This is
I mean, okay, I put this in here wrong. Eli had you as 13th. I think
I had Jason 14th and AJ 13th.
Okay. Well, AJ and Jason were tied with our like the way that we rank these things, but I put Jason at 13th because he's just got a better record, so that moves you up. Getting a win helps.
Yep. The other thing is Diggs is doing so darn well that it does genuinely rise you up a bit, Jason. That and with Dobbins' return imminent, Fournette getting a lot of load, and Deontay Johnson being okay, you're not so far below, in my opinion, the next worst person that you're not going to potentially win some games. And so that dark cavern you were in, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Totally. Tate, what do you think about your dad's team? Do you think he should be all the way down here?
Yes. I do think that game was a lot of luck. I mean, Diggs got more points than his own QB, which is very surprising. And yeah, I would like to see what happens next in the league with him.
Same here.
Likewise.
Oh, it looks like your brother.
Another Thomas.
At 12.
Aiden LeBurge at 12. Aiden's team pretty different from the time last weekend until now, trading me Kelsey for Robinson, Bateman, and Knox. Tate, thoughts on your brother's team?
So I don't know. I just getting rid of Travis is Travis Kelce is a big, like, that's a big trade.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if this goes well, it could be good for him. But if it doesn't go well, it's not so good.
I would totally agree. I think it's probably more than likely not going to be good for him by the end of the season. But he needs wins, I guess, so he can't be starting bad players.
The thing is, take this trade away, I think Aiden would have landed in the same spot regardless. 0-2.
Yeah.
And just not strong enough punch from his quarterback, from the number 2 spots at running back. Just weak.
Just weak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weak.
Next up, Gramps. I'm giving Gramps a small boost because his team is temporarily derailed by injury. Like Keenan will come back, Gabriel Davis will come back, Herbert is likely going to play, but if any of those guys missed significant time, Gramps' team would skyrocket down even farther.
Yeah, Gramps, I think your team is just being held on by a couple threads, and if any of them break, it's gonna be bad. Yeah, I think you kind of deserve to be down here. I know your team scored pretty low last week. I don't think that's gonna change. Tate, what do you think?
So originally I was gonna rank him way below because the last time I saw, he had Cam Akers in as his flex, but apparently he changed that, which is really good for him.
He has him in his starting running back position now.
Yeah. And that's not good.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, Herbert did not. He got like, I don't know if he's hurt or if he's just
Well,
like
he cracked
temporary.
the cartilage in his ribs, so he's got broken ribs.
So we'll see how he does, but it's definitely not ideal to have a couple broken bones when you're trying to play football.
Yep.
Ironically, that injury is what Tyrod Taylor had when he got the needle that punctured his lung.
Yep.
They inject numbing agents into your chest so you can play through the pain. That's how Herbert got his start. So it would be really full karma if he got his lung punctured.
Well, he already didn't, so.
No, but he will be getting that injection next week before his game, if he plays.
And Chase Daniel becomes the new sensation.
Gramps, your team's bad. Next up is the load.
Yeah, I put myself way lower than Eli put me, just because I don't want to be like, what's the term?
Cocky.
Yeah, I guess cocky. Or have like too much homerism. So I'll put myself up higher when I start winning games. But as it stands, I'm 0-2, which means I should deserve to be down here. It's kind of it.
Yeah, I put you at 6 because when I just look at all of the teams, you are the 6th, if not better, roster, in my opinion. And you lost last week on a freak injury. You lost week 1 because of crazy touchdown luck. And so those things balance out over the season.
Yeah. Oh, what do you guys think about the Carr for Logan Thomas trade?
Tate.
Yeah, nothing much.
Yeah.
Just surprising. I don't know.
Yeah, agreed.
We'll say Kamara coming back would be really big for your team if he is an RB1. Again, he's been terrible first game, injured, and so we'll see what happens there.
Nice to have my first round pick producing.
That, and you got Hopkins waiting, lurking in the dark. Let's move on. Next up is Luke.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to say. I think these middle teams are kind of all just kind of the same.
Yeah, they're all squished together in kind of garbage no man's land.
I mean, anyone can have a good week, and Luke kind of did last week because he got the win. But I could see him losing or winning any week unless he's playing a good opponent,
Yeah. Luke with a good waiver wire pickup of Curtis Samuel really helped. He's 2-0, which helps. I ranked him 11, and I'm thinking maybe that's a little low, but I just don't like his team.
Fair enough.
Tate.
I gotta say something. So AJ was originally planning on picking up Curtis Samuel. I was talking to him, and Lily picked him up before he could, or not Lily, Luke picked him up before he could get it, and that was kind of funny. But otherwise, I think the same as you guys.
Nice. Next up is Tolt Demons. Rising the ranks, although still falling in the bottom half.
Yeah, let me just take a quick look.
I think we were low on Pops' team because injury with T. Higgins out made
Yeah,
his team look significantly worse.
Allen Robinson coming off week 1 with like 2 targets, and one of them didn't really count. Looked bad, but he bounced back, so he's looking better. And Mandrews had a great week, so if he can keep that up, it looks good because he kind of needs that. And Jeff Wilson's clearly the number 1 in SF right now.
Yeah, so Pop's lineup has a hole in it, like many of these lineups do, where Penny is not a good play week by week.
I would agree. But
And
he doesn't have much else on
he
the
has no
bench.
one on the bench, and so
Yeah.
he's got a liability, and he doesn't have the depth to fill in. Therefore, I don't think he deserves to be a top half of the rankings ranked team.
Yeah.
Same, Tate, same.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't like starting Penny, I don't think is not like I don't think it's a good choice at all.
Yeah, it's not, but it's his only choice, which is the problem.
Yeah. Well, would you rather start Penny or JD McKissick?
Probably Penny.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Next up, Tate, it's you. Let's give you a chance to talk about your own team first. What do you think about us ranking you at 7th?
So I think it's fine. I deserve to be in this spot. Yeah, like you said, Devontae is like if he's not gonna do good, like at least more than half the league, I don't think I can do amazing or half the season. But I mean, Pitt's definitely. I mean, I thought he was gonna be like I thought he was a good pick during the draft, but he's not. He's not showing that. And
Yeah, we all thought that.
And Josh Allen is doing good. But it's against my dad with Diggs. I mean, it's just fair if that Josh Allen's mostly gonna pass to him, and that's just giving my dad points.
Yeah, I'm putting you're rising my ranks because your running backs look capable enough to buoy your floor while Allen and Adams run rampant, and you're going to want more from Pitts. But for now, your team just looks kind of averagely solid.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we all thought Pitts was going to be a really good, or thought he was a good pick. He still could be. It just needs to change kind of soon, but hopefully that happens for you.
Yeah, be patient with Pitts, Tate. Don't let him play another couple weeks. It'll probably start to happen.
Yeah, and I
mean,
also had to get rid of Butker, but I kept him in because I didn't know he was hurt. And
oh yeah,
Marcus Valdes-Scantling I put in because I thought since Amari Cooper did terrible, good thing he did bad that game because when I put him in after that, he got 22 points.
Yeah, you were right to listen to me and Travis and not listen to Sam about Amari Cooper versus Elijah Moore.
And my brother. I feel like
and you see what he did again tonight. Cooper got 100 yards and a touchdown again tonight.
Yeah, Cooper had 21 points. Cooper's awesome.
I think my brother was just trying to just fail my team.
That, and you should listen to people that have won the league the last 2 years, Travis and me. And then
me.
Gabe the year before that. Don't listen to people that haven't won the league in the past,
Yeah.
We can't even remember the last time.
I trust you.
Next up, you should, is Sam. Long story short, Sam, your receivers are less good than I thought week 1 after they had those big games. CD doesn't look like a runaway wide receiver 1. Hollywood Brown kind of just isn't that good. Michael Pittman is dinged up, and then the Colts suck somehow. And Jefferson isn't going to score you 40 points every game. He's going to go up and down. And Squirts is great, but your running backs are so bad. Your tight end is so bad. Your team's just less good than I thought. Still a good team, but you didn't deserve to be 2 last week. I overreacted, and this is probably better where you should be.
Yeah, I mean, That's kind of my thoughts too.
Tate?
Yeah, I mean, that first game was amazing, but yeah, then again, Jefferson is going to be like a roller coaster. I think he's going to go up, down, and up.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
I think he'll have more good weeks like week 1 than bad like week 2, but still it's always in the cards for a dud.
Yep.
Indeed. And the worst running backs in the league. Wah wah. Running
That's
back.
because he didn't go for running backs during the draft.
Yeah.
Yep. And even the ones he picked, like Chase Edmonds, like kind of sucks. Gordon kind of sucks. Pollard is like
They're all like
bad.
not clearly the best on their team, which is
Yep. He's not getting the load.
not getting the load.
Definitely not getting the load. Next up is Joe.
No change for Joe, just because he had a solid week. I think everything that we expected out of Joe, we got to see. So no change. I mean, he doesn't go up because other teams are better, but he's looking good.
For me, Joe's team is like the better version of Sam's team. He has 3 receivers that are dope, and then middling running back talent, much better than Sam's, and then a solid quarterback. Although Jalen Hurts is better than Rodgers. Just Joe's receivers rock, and that's all Joe's gonna need.
And Joe has a better tight end.
And Joe is just cooler.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Next up is me. Maybe Tate, you want to go first?
Sure. To be honest, I would rank you like second or first after these 2 games. I think your team's pretty dang solid. And after that trade for Kelsey, I think your team's gonna do better moving forward. And yeah.
Sweet.
That's high praise. I don't want to boost Eli's ego too much, so I put him down in 4th, but I think that's kind of where he sits. Hopefully he has no major injuries because he's pretty thin now after the Kelsey trade, but I love condensing talent for like top tier. So getting Kelsey was a huge win for you. Yeah, good job on that trade. So you're going to keep on going up probably.
He's gonna get the load.
My weaknesses to start the year were QB and tight end. Now I have Dak coming back soon and Kelsey sitting in there. And my starting lineup rocks. I don't really have any running backs able to fill in now, and I'm starting Dameon Pierce. And so high risk, high reward. We'll see what happens for now. For now, I think it gives me a better chance to go deeper in the playoffs.
It's all what it's about.
Yep, I have offered to carry it for a while. And
Carry it for a while.
Next up is Annie.
Annie, she beat me, but she probably shouldn't have, so that's why she fell out of the number 1 spot for me. Plus there's other better teams, I think. But
yeah.
Even with a bad week from Jonathan Taylor, she still put up 100 points, which is good. He scores 20, that's 120, and it looks way better. So good job. Tyreek looks awesome. And you have a good looking team, Annie.
Annie's top 4 are the best top 4 in the league. They all have the chance to score 40 points any game, anytime, as you can see. When they don't, though, if they middle out and hit like 12s or 15s or 20s, rest of her team is below par. And so she's a top half heavy team. That tends to work out, especially in larger leagues where if you get a big performance, you could kind of ride it. But I think that there are multiple teams better than hers. Still, Annie's team looking solid.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think I'd say the same. I do think Gabe has a good team, and I think he could have won, but I don't know. He's not getting so lucky.
No, and luck does play a part. Injury luck, performance luck, touchdown luck.
Yeah, luck is like at least a third of fantasy football, if not more.
Speaking of luck, we just watched the Thursday night game, and on the very last play, Najee, quote, fumbles, trying to do that stupid play, loses 2.4 points, and Sam played the Browns D, who gains 8 points on that fumbled touchdown. That's what I mean by luck. As nothing to do with anything you could possibly predict. And so luck matters.
Yeah, totally.
Next
Yeah.
up is Travis. with
Travis.
the best running backs in the league. His receivers are stepping up. He has 2 good quarterbacks, a good tight end. Behind Kayla, in my opinion, he just has the best roster. Lost by 0.12. That likely won't happen again. And McCaffrey hasn't even started to hit his ceiling yet. And so this team to me seems real strong. That's why they're number 2.
Yeah, I mean, I had Travis and Annie pretty close, but since Travis is 1-1 and Annie's 2-0, I just bumped her up because at some point, you know, wins do matter. But Travis, your team looks great, and you got a serious shot to win it all again, unfortunately for us.
Tate?
Yeah, I mean, he just has like a good team, like all in all. I mean, he has like good wide receivers and stuff. Like, I think he's gonna do good throughout the year, and I think we all know who next is.
Next up is Trash Boat. Kayla. I guess I'll just start here. Her team is so good. It looks like she drafted a 10-team league, and we all drafted in a 14-team league. Everyone is on point except for tight end, and it doesn't matter. She should just not even bother starting a tight end. She's going to win every week.
Except for week 1. But yeah, I mean, this team looks awesome, and I'm jealous of this team. It's pretty much all I have to say.
I'm also jealous of this team. I'm jealous of her bench. Right now, her bench has players that would pretty much start on every single team. Like, Drake London would start on most teams. Michael Carter would be a flex consideration on most teams.
Lazard
would be a flyer for someone like, I think he's better than McKenzie. So like Annie would be flyering Lazard. Like, her bench is full of people that people want to be playing on their teams. That does not make her starting lineup any weaker. Tate Sickles, what's your analysis on this?
I'm speechless. I mean, okay, there's one thing I want to point out. I think Lamar Jackson's coming back. 51 points on her fantasy team. That's more than half of 100. And 51 can be like, sometimes if like someone has a bad day, that could be sometimes how much they score, and that's just one player for her.
Yeah.
And again, Tyreek Hill and
she doesn't have Tyreek. She has AJ Brown though.
Oh, yes.
Amon-Ra
St. Brown, Nick Chubb, Austin Eckler, Brandon Cooks.
Yeah. Nick Chubb did amazing, and I think Nick Chubb's still gonna do good. I mean, I just think Nick Chubb's a really good player all around.
He is. He was being severely underdrafted in most leagues.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Basically, no injuries. Everyone's performing at exactly what you had hoped for.
One more slide.
And before we move on from the rankings, let's take a peek at the sliders.
I just put this together so we can kind of see like the movement. One thing that I think is interesting is like right where Tate is, that's kind of like the top half of the league, and nothing really changed up there. There was just some like shuffling around. I think it's kind of clear that there's a top half and a bottom half. So
it does. Tate, it seems like you're the line right there. The biggest changeup was AJ this week, partially because he loses his best receiver and because Derrick Henry looks like Dump Henry. Maybe he should get air back in his little weird thing.
And he doesn't have Kittle.
Kittle might be back this week, and so maybe AJ will rise over Jason. Maybe Aiden will fall. Who knows? But that's the biggest movement. Pops moves up because his injury-riddled team looked less riddled, and he won. Sam is a significant faller this week. He might fall again next week with a bad performance.
Yeah. I mean, I just thought it was fun to visualize how things are moving, at least how we rank people. So
it is, but no one jumped from the top half to the bottom or the bottom half to the top. And so,
yeah, Tiers are forming. That's what I was just saying.
Tiers are forming.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's just look at these matchups going into week 2 and make some predictions.
All right.
Let's make some predictions. And mind you, we've had a Thursday night game to inform us a bit. And I think that will actually inform some of our predictions heavily. And so
maybe not heavily, but at least as much as it should.
Sure. So starting up, Annie versus me. What do you guys think?
I think Annie's gonna win this.
This is hard. I think it's going to be a really close game, but I think Eli's going to come up on top by just a little bit.
Oh.
I'll say, I think 50% of how this game falls comes down to, does Mahomes dink passing touchdowns to Edwards-Helaire? Or does 2 of Mahomes' touchdowns go to Kelsey?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Kelsey's a really good defensive blocker against Mahomes, but if Mahomes' passing touchdowns go to Helaire, that completely sidesteps it and ruins that strategy. Also, I have Geno Smith. She's starting Lockett, and so if Geno's touchdowns go to Lockett, that we have each other's blockers in here. So where the touchdowns go is going to define this game. I'm going to give it to Annie because of that Najee Harris fumble. It seems like this is a bad luck week for me.
And I think it will be close. I think maybe 2.5 points could be enough to decide it by the week's end.
Next up is Tate versus Aiden. And this is where I'm saying the Thursday night games are going to influence. Yeah. Tate, you just had a sweet game from Cooper. And you're looking real good to start. You got Josh Allen and Devontae Adams. And you're going to wipe the floor with Aiden.
I agree.
Yeah. I do think I'm going to win. And that's why Aiden's not annoying me because he knows I'm going to win. And he said I was going to win. I know it doesn't matter too much, but I do want to see Kyle Pitts do better. And I just want to believe in him more.
Well, playing Seattle's a good setup for that because Seattle's defense is middling, if not terrible.
Yeah, the Hawks are.
I got 2 Josh. Double Josh.
That you do.
Double Josh. Oh, yeah. Josh Allen's Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
Well, Tate, good start. Hopefully you have a good finish.
Thanks.
Next up is Jay Sonic versus COVID-riddled Gramps. I guess kind of like Gramps' team. There's some symmetry where Gramps is below weather and he's getting healthier. Gramps' team is below weather and they're getting healthier.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to give you advice, Gramps, but I do think that Cam Akers should go to your bench and you should start AJ Dillon. I know he's got a bad matchup, but Cam Akers.
Cam Akers. That and you're playing injured Herbert, injured Allen, and their tight end, Gerald Everett. I know they're playing Jacksonville, but that's way too much reliance on a quarterback who has cracked ribs.
And a receiver who's got a pulled hammy.
And so I have major question marks about everyone on your team except Joe Mixon. So in fact, I'm actually going to give this nod to Jason.
Ooh.
I think Jason wins this one.
All right. I'm going to put my chips down on Gramps still.
And I'm saying that because I think Mariota runs circles around the Hawks D. We have a horrible history of containing running quarterbacks. We just straight up can't do it.
Okay. You're going to call this for Jason when he has Jerick McKinnon and Khalil Herbert in his starting lineup?
He might be able to plop Dobbins in there. If not, he might be able to plop Robbie Anderson in there, which he should for Khalil Herbert. Yeah, he has a better team he can field. He should not be playing McKinnon and Khalil.
As it sits right now, I'm going to go for Gramps. Tate, what do you think is going to happen in your dad's game?
Oh gosh. Okay. First of all, Gramps' team is just no. Gramps' team is no. Okay, hear me out. Usually I would choose Gramps, but the reason I'm picking my dad is because of how good Diggs is doing. Diggs, I wouldn't be surprised if he went with a blowout, 40 points again, and that just wins him the game.
Good take.
Yeah, I like it. So it's 2 for 1 for Jason.
Oh,
Next up, Demons versus the Baby. Pretty Steveny even, kinda. Except that Jamar Chase versus the Jets looks real juicy to me.
Patterson versus the Hawks.
Only thing is, Pops, similar to me and Annie, if Joe Burrow has a good game, it's likely going through the hands of Chase. And simply because of that, I'm voting for Joe on this one. That and Cordell Patterson is going to rip the Hawks.
I think Joe has good matchups. Waddle against Buffalo, they're probably going to be in a shootout, so that bodes well. And Penny's going to just bring this whole roster down, so I'm going for Joe as well.
That and Helen Robinson had one good game. I still don't buy it that he's an RB2.
Wide receiver too.
If you look at just like Chase and Higgins, like Chase is just objectively better than Higgins. Devo's objectively better than Robinson. Waddle's objectively more valuable than Jeff Wilson.
So true.
Patterson's objectively more valuable than Penny. Rodgers and Burrow, Burrow gets the nod against the Jets, but like, is Dalvin Cook enough? He's probably going to tear up the Lions, but like, not enough. Pops are going to lose. Tate?
Okay. Yeah, like you said, Jamar Chase playing the Jets could be good. But the thing is, I have questionable thoughts about the Jets because, I mean, them beating the Browns was a huge surprise. But I do not think they're going to do as good. And, yeah, I think Jamar Chase is going to be Joe Burrow's main target. And, I don't know, Dalvin Cook, in my opinion, could do good, but I'm going for Joe.
Nice.
Next up is Dinky Sam versus the Mud Dogs.
Yeah, I mean, I can just call it right now for Travis. Browns should have 8 less points. Very lucky for Sam. But the rest of his team looks terrible. He's got Eno Benjamin starting.
And Eno's projected at 9.5 points.
Ugh.
Against a really...
Is Connor hurt?
Not...
Oh, he does returns.
He does returns, that's why.
I get Pollard had a good game last week, but that was only because, I don't know, garbage time, right?
It's garbage. Pollard is garbage. Now, I will say, Hurts likely torches the Commanders. Jefferson likely torches the Lions. Pittman, super questionable. So, And we know that Freiermuth already did, And CD, surprisingly, the Giants D has been lights out this year.
Yeah, and with Cooper Rush, he doesn't even like just look at CD. He's trickling like Noah Brown, you know? He's got more than one target, like we thought Dallas would look like. So CD not that good.
Travis's team just objectively better. Sam got really lucky on that stupid last play on Thursday, which really helps. Those 8 points are going to help.
Like an hour ago.
But even if you spotted Sam 8 points and we didn't know that, I would have said Travis is going to win.
Yeah, McCaffrey's due for a 30-point week. He's been at his floor of like 15. He's going to bust.
That, and has Sam ever beat Travis?
No. Has he?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Sam can try and claim like, 8 years ago. Doesn't count. No one remembers. No one cares.
Oh, we're both going for Travis over here. Tate, how about over in Denver?
So this is hard. No, this isn't hard, Travis. But I do want to say something. So Pollard is playing the Giants, which the Giants defense isn't doing good, but Dallas isn't gonna win. The Giants like offense and stuff is doing pretty good, and I think the only chance that Sam has of getting like 30 points close is if Justin Jefferson has like a really good game. But yeah, all the way Travis. Sam, get out of here.
Next up is the load versus AJ.
Yeah, can I point one thing out here? I made a custom image for my team, so it shows share the load right here. Just wanted to make sure everyone knew that. That images.
Tate, let's get it first. What are you thinking about Age versus Gabe? Brother battle.
Okay. It very well could be good for Gabe. But if Gabe's team does not get lucky again, I do think AJ could win. So for me, this is, I don't know, like a tie between, but one of them has to win. But for me, it's a tie right now.
I'll say AJ's team is really dependent on D Hen and Kyler Murray. I think Mike Evans being out is enough to plop Gabe clearly in the lead. Even if Alvin Kamara doesn't play, he's got DJ Moore, Lurkin. Gabe's team just has a good roster. And, they should have won last week. They're going to win this week.
Yeah, I mean, just look at AJ's lineup. Jarvis Landry. I'm starting Michael Thomas across from him. Whoever plays better there probably really helps whoever's going to win this matchup. What's more likely, Landry or Michael Thomas scores more points, And Russell Gage, who's also questionable. It just doesn't look like a strong lineup for AJ. I don't think my lineup is like super strong because Kamara could be out. But my matchups are good, so I'm hopeful. I think I'm going to win.
And last but not least is
Kayla.
Luke versus the boat of trash, Kales.
I'll just start off by saying another classic Nick Chubb week that we just saw. Solid 19 points. It's really going to help because that's all she needs is just to stay average, and average will get her the win because Lamar is going to bust, and one of her other players is going to have a great week too. So Kayla's going to win this.
Sure. I'll say Luke's chance to win is if Staff throws 3 touchdowns to Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
If Curtis Samuel regresses at all, that's going to hurt. Julio's questionable and not really a big score touchdown guy anymore at this point in his career. Javante is good, but not good enough. I think Montgomery runs loose this week, but can't just ride Montgomery to victory. I'd be surprised if he even gets 19.3.
Yeah.
I would be riddled with confusion if Kayla's team did not win this week.
I would too. Something crazy must have happened. So, yeah.
Tate.
So straight off the bat, Lily is cool. Luke has no chance. So I'm just gonna go straight to Kayla. Lamar Jackson, is gonna do good, I think. Nick Chubb has already done good. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think is gonna do good. And honestly, for me, I think she only needs those 3 players, and she's gonna win. Maybe AJ Brown could do good, but those 4 players, I think she's gonna win.
Totally. I think there was something funny we saw last week was Kayla only needed 3 players to beat AJ last week. Maybe that'll be the same for Luke.
Only needed Lamar and Amon-Ra.
Really?
Yep.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, before we end, Tate, it was awesome having you on the podcast. Is there anything else you want to discuss before we sign off? Any thoughts you want to share? Anything that's on your mind?
No, I mean, I do think that this this season is going to be very interesting. And next time I'm on, which I don't know when will be, but I won't mess up my words. So.
Oh, you're good, Tate. You're the first guest this year after Travis, and you've done outstanding. Round of applause for Tate. Tate's first podcast performance. Crushing it, Tate.
Yeah, Tate, I really like your insight. It's great having you on.
Yeah, really good takes.
Thanks.
We'll likely be podcasting maybe a Tuesday next week. You'll definitely be getting an invite if you're available. That's it for the Gridiron this week.
Yeah.
Tate?
Not much. So bye to the Gridiron.
All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. This has been the Gridiron.